What's up guys, it's Fitrageous Films. So I got a hold of Caveman Principals product by Marian Cerny. Cyerney, I'm not really sure how it's pronounced. Anyways, I was so impressed with this guy's work that I got in contact with him and asked him if he would allow me to do an inside look review of this product. That way you guys can actually get to see a little bit of the meat and potatoes if it's actually tucked away in the pages. Marian, being the awesome guy he is, gave me the green light, so here we are. The first thing I want to mention about this course is how much of a massive eye-opener it was. Turns out, most of the conventional wisdom out there about eating healthy and getting fit is in fact making us fatter, and even worse, in some cases slowly killing us. If you're one of those people who's been doing everything right and still aren't seeing any positive results, you're going to want to check this out. So before we get to take a sneak peek at the goods, you can see I have the product page here. It's something kinda cool. When I first got in contact with Marian, I mentioned how well designed the page was, and it turns out he custom made it by himself, which I thought was pretty awesome. So I'm not going to spend too much time here, you guys can check it out by clicking the link in the description below, but I figured I would point out a couple things on the page. First we can check out the What You'll Learn section. Alright, so I'd say about 75% of the course is about optimizing your hormonal system, and the rest of the benefits are pretty much the benefits you'll get from doing that. Improving your mental performance, strengthening your immune system, gaining unseen amounts of strength, breaking free of cravings and controlling your hunger, waking up easily every morning and increasing your lifespan. Alright, another thing I want to point out, and this is really important. Notice the 60-day money-back guarantee. If you like the course, implement it and you'll be the healthiest and best looking you've ever been. If you don't like it, or it's not what you're expecting, just snag a refund. There'll be no questions asked. You really can't lose. Alright, so we'll head a little bit further down the page. Alright, if you look here, we've got a couple reviews from some people who have tried out Marian's techniques, including a couple health bloggers. In my opinion, the best review is from this guy Richard here, and you should probably check that out. One thing that really stands out for me is this quote here. It's not just about the six-pack. This really sums up his product. The Caveman Principals is about living healthy, not just getting jacked. Even if getting jacked is just a nice little side effect for living healthy. I'll let you guys check out the rest of this on your own if you want. Alright, before we check out the main Caveman Principles guide, let's check out the guide to fats. Unless you've done extensive research into fats, it can be really easy to fall for the latest dieting scams if you don't know how fats interact with your body. That's the purpose of the guide to fats. It not only explains what all the different kinds of fats are, but also how and why they interact with your body the way they do. I'll take a scroll through the table of contents here to give you guys a good idea of what's inside. One section that I thought was particularly interesting was the section on cholesterol and heart disease. It says that the main cause of arterial damage is not in fact cholesterol, it's actually oxidized cholesterol. Small LDL cholesterol is easily oxidized and causes inflammation, which makes it a high risk factor for cardiovascular disease. Oxidation occurs when LDL particles react with free radicals. Smoking and eating a diet high in trans fats is a surefire way to increase the number of free radicals in your body. Dietary cholesterol oxidizes when exposed to heat and oxygen. This is why, for example, scrambled is the worst way you can eat your eggs. The cholesterol in them is oxidized under high temperature. Powdered eggs and milk are another source of oxidized cholesterol. And then he talks about how oxidized LDL goes on to form plaque in your arteries, which can cause heart attack or stroke. Alright, hopefully now you guys will have a good idea what you get in the guide to fats. Now I'll move on to the main attraction, Caveman Principals. Alright, so here we have the Caveman Principals. If we scroll down here. And there we have Marian again. And here we have the table of contents. So the guide starts off with the problems of living in the 21st century. It goes into different health problems we suffer from because of the diet and lifestyle that we live with. Then it begins to go into the benefits of living the caveman lifestyle. A little bit later it goes into the chronological through the day of living the caveman lifestyle, starting off with fast mode, and the benefits of fasting, as well as different misconceptions about fasting. Then it moves on to beast mode, which talks about strength training. It also goes into a little bit with high intensity training. Then it goes into feast mode. It talks about what foods you should eat and what you shouldn't eat when you go into feast mode, and how to find natural food to eat. And finally it goes into rest mode, which talks about how you can get the most out of your sleep. Then he throws in some resources at the end where you can go and research more about living the caveman lifestyle. Alright, so I want to share with you guys the hormones portion of the guide, as hormones are somewhat the basis of why the whole caveman lifestyle works. It's got a section titled Hormones, the Key to Everything. Everything that happens in your body, everything you do, every craving you have, every mood swing can be brought down to one thing: hormones. The amount of fat you store on the muscle you build, your sex drive, your energy levels, or your ability to concentrate on important tasks. All these things and more depend on the hormonal balance of your body. Let's have a brief overview of the most important hormones in your body composition and health. He then goes on to explain how fasting in the caveman lifestyle will have a massive positive impact on everything from growth hormone to testosterone and insulin. Alright, hopefully you guys got a pretty good idea what's included in the Caveman Principles. As far as who should get this guide goes, I would say if you don't plan on implementing anything in the book, and you have no willpower to make a change for the better in your life, you should probably pass on getting this course. On the other hand, if you're at all interested in making some changes in your life to look better, feel better, and all around live healthier, definitely check this out. You don't have to implement the whole caveman lifestyle to make improvements to your lifestyle. Just implementing some of the suggestions detailed in this course could potentially make a huge positive impact on your life. Also, if you're like me, and hate being scammed by the latest diet craze, Caveman Principles will give you the great overview of how nutrition and fats actually interact with your body, so you won't be another sucker buying into the latest weight loss industry scam. And as I mentioned before, there's a 60-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee, so you really have nothing to lose. Just click the link in the description below to check out Caveman Principles for yourself.